Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. Yes, Warner has produced a decent American music box. Of course, it's probably out of print, but I'm going to tell you what it is anyway, because the stuff in it you may want to get, or some of the stuff in it, and you should at least know that it existed, because who knows when it might be back. Now, you may recall this bizarre item, which I talked about a couple times already, thinking, goodness gracious, it's just a strange assortment of odds and ends from various people, and it has like, what, 6 CDs, which can't possibly be representative of American music. It was just kind of silly. It really was. I mean, the performances were terrible, but it was so just iffy. And this is not iffy. This is Imaginary Landscapes, Sounds of America. Now, you'll note from the fact that this is an EMI logo that probably the only reason I was able to still get this is because there are just some copies hanging around that never sold, because it wasn't repackaged as Warner. And EMI has been Warner for a while now. So I'm not sure that this is still out there, but they may be selling down the crazy quantity that they originally produced, or the not crazy quantity that nobody bought anyway, because they did no promotion and didn't tell anyone that this thing existed, and so nobody knew about it. I mean, that's possible too. Anyway, this has 20 discs, and we're going to go through them very quickly, and I'll just tell you what's in it. And you may want to get some of the stuff separately if it's still around, or you may want to try and find El Boxo. It wasn't expensive or anything. It's just out there on Amazon. At least that's where I found it. And if you are looking for it, remember, go by the title, Imaginary Landscapes, Sounds of America. Do not look for works, composers, or anything else, because you won't find it. It's impossible. It also says American Classics. There are all kinds of things you can search under, except the music. That is always the way it works now with the pop music, sort of oriented sales and downloady thing. Nobody understands composers and works. They don't. That is not how they work. They work by title, album title, some title, something, but never the composer or the work or the performers. That, my friends, is completely impossible. So let's see what we get, disc by disc. It goes this way, and I'm going to drop things all over the place, as I always do. It comes with a fairly hefty booklet, and let's just take out the CDs. Here they are, and we'll see what's inside. Oh, the excitement. It's almost too much to bear, isn't it? Really. First, and 20 discs is enough to do a retrospective, a representative sampling of the range and variety of American music, which is a very good thing. So it begins with Sousa marches. And who's doing the Sousa marches and dances? Does it the Great American Main Street Band under Timothy Foley. Everyone should have Sousa marches and dances, and I'm sure they sound very Sousa-like. No, actually, they do, because I listen to them, and they sound like Sousa, so that's a good thing, and that's nice. Right? Next, what else have we got? Scott Joplin, Rags and Waltzes. Now, this is with Joshua Rifkin, who is a classic Joplinite, and also the guy who was doing like Bach with one person to a part. He had his odd moments. At least he didn't do Joplin with one person to a part, and you get a lot of stuff here. You really do. So this is really nice. Joplin is wonderful, and I think he's equally important and significant as an American composer. So there you go. Although I wish, oh boy, do I wish, why is RCA sitting on the complete Joplin with Dick Hyman, with that fabulous introduction by U.B. Blake? Will they ever release that set? It makes no sense at all. None, that they're all just sitting there doing nothing with it. Anyway, okay. And next, Charles Ives. This happens to be a wonderful disc. This is Songs, and with Marnie Nixon and John McCabe. Yeah, this hasn't been around. And then Orchestral Sets with Ingo Metzmacher and Ensemble Moderne. These were like couplings to other things, some of these things, but this is just marvelous. wonderful to have. I am so happy to see this. It's a terrific piece. And let's see, you get, the orchestral sets are wonderful. They really are. This is so much fun. These are the sets for small orchestra, not the big ones, not Three Places in New England or, orchestral set number 2, which doesn't have a title or any of that stuff. But it's really, really, really good. So there you go. Next, Grafe, the Grand Canyon Suite, the Mississippi Suite, the Death Valley Suite, and you get another Grand Canyon Suite cloudburst thing. This is with the Hollywood Bowl Symphony Orchestra and the Capitol Symphony Orchestra under Felix Slatkin and Ferdi Grafe himself. That's sort of a classic. This was in the best of Felix Slatkin box, at least some of it was. And so that's a terrific one. And I think we're making very good progress, starting in the early 20th century or the turn of the 20th century, and working our way forward. Gershwin, An American in Paris, Rhapsody in Blue, Catfish Row, Cuban Overture, Lullaby, and let's see who's doing this stuff. Well, it's all mixed up. It's the St. Louis Symphony with Slatkin, Andre Previn and the LSO, and Simon Rattle and the London Sinfonietta. I'm not going to worry about how it's broken up. I'm just telling you who these people are. But it's much better than the sort of Gershwin thing in here, unless, of course, it was exactly the same one. But I don't think it was. I really don't. Gershwin, Rhapsody in Blue, American Person. No, it wasn't. It wasn't the same. There you go. So it's a different disc. Let's see, what else have we got? Oh, more Gershwin. Piano duets with the Lebec sisters. What is it that people saw in those women? I do not understand it. Not that they were terrible or anything. They just weren't interesting. And they played all this stuff. This is Gershwin piano duets with the Lebec sisters. But you also, let's see, the second Rhapsody. Now, I guess An American in Paris is a piano duet. Blue Monday. Well, I mean, some of the music's interesting. But, I mean, the Lebec sisters, it's like, all right. I mean, more Gershwin. Songs from shows and overtures. Now, this is the same stuff that we had in the other box. This is the John McGlynn stuff. And it's very well done. I mean, the songs are with Kiri Te Kanawa, who is, of course, that classic Gershwin singer. Not. But still, it's nice to have, and it's fun, and it's okay. And it was just as good there. And here is, let's see, songs and piano music by Gershwin and Jerome Kern. See, they're really pushing the pop side of American music, but that will not continue. And this is with Richard Rodney Bennett. Yeah. Which is lovely. These are from the Gershwin songbook and things. In other words, Bennett's not singing. He's playing piano versions, and they're quite nice, so that's fine. Copland, gotta have Copland. Appalachian Spring, El Salon Mexico, Old American Songs, and the Fanfare for the Common Man. Now, the songs are done. You know what? We got to figure out who's doing the songs, because you care about singers, don't you? Wait a minute. Let me see who's doing this stuff. Gershwin songs. Yeah, it was Kiri Te Kanawa. We did that. Bennett with Barry Tuckwell and other people. Oh, there's all kinds of people in this. And let's see, Copland. Here we go. Bruce Hubbard with the Orchestra of St. Luke's and Dennis Russell Davies. Appalachian Spring is Leonard Slatkin in St. Louis. The Fanfare for the Common Man is Enrique Batiz with the Orquesta Filarmónica de la Ciudad de Mexico. And El Salon Mexico is Eduardo Mata. So that's really cool. And the next one this is actually, I think, wonderful to see coming back. This is the Third Symphony, the Danzon Cubano, and the Dance Symphony. What a nice Copland disc. And this Third Symphony was the Dallas Symphony with Eduardo Mata. It's a very good performance of the Third Symphony, one that no one ever paid attention to, but was first rate and very well recorded. In addition to it, I'm looking at this too. And Baptiste is back for the Dance Symphony. Isn't that fun? It's a nice disc. This is always a good disc. I mean, these performances, and they were in and out of the catalog and back and forth, and so it's good to see them boxed up and stuffed somewhere. They've been stuffed. Yeah, you got it. Up. And now we have more Copland. The Clarinet Concerto, music for the theater, Quiet City, and dance panels. This is with the New York Chamber Symphony and Gerard Schwartz. Another excellent disc. Schwartz did a lot of good recordings for EMI, which really should be boxed up altogether, but they haven't been yet. So this is really, really nice to have. And I mean, it's not the usual same old repertoire. And it's also good to see several discs devoted to some of these composers or styles of composition, because with 20 discs, you got some room. You can wiggle. You got wiggle room. That's the point. You could actually show the variety of composers and the range of American music. And we also have, now things are going to change. Oh boy, baby, Elliot Carter. Now there's a different wave in the American musical experience. 3 occasions for orchestra: the Violin Concerto and the Concerto for Orchestra. And these are all with Oliver Knussen and the London Sinfonietta. Yes. These are wonderful performances. The music, of course, is Carter. It's very gnarly. Some people like Carter. Some people hate him. I happen to like him most of the time. I think he wrote some junk like everybody else. And I think he enjoyed making things complicated just for its own sake, not out of some sort of inner musical necessity. But, it's like any other style of composer and style of writing. Once you sort of know it, you can separate the good stuff from the bad pretty easily. And it's very good to have him represented because he's a major, major voice in 20th century American music. Then we have Samuel Barber, lots of Samuel Barber. We have a couple discs of the stuff. We have the Adagio for strings, Knoxville, summer of 1915. This is with the London Symphony and Michael Tilson Thomas with Barbara Hendricks doing Knoxville. The Violin Concerto with Elmar Oliveira and Leonard Slatkin in St. Louis, which is one of the great recordings of that piece. And I saw him do it live. It was wonderful. It really was. And we get the School for Scandal and the Essay No. 1 and Medea's Dance of Vengeance, also with Slatkin in St. Louis. Then we have more Barber, the Cello Sonata with Alan Stepansky and Israela Margalit, and the Excursions, and with Israela Margalit, and Summer Music, which is, the Wind Quintet, and some other things like that. A nice little disc. And then another Barber disc. Oh, goodness. 3 Barbers. Here they are. Yeah. I did that one, the Cello Sonata and Excursions. What's this one? Okay, we just did that one. We did that one. And now we have to do this one. We get Dover Beach, the Serenade for String Quartet, the actual string quartet that has the Adagio in it, and a bunch of songs sung by Thomas Allen with Roger Vignoles and the Endellian String Quartet. It's a very, very fine disc. And let's see, what else have we got? Oh, Despite and Still, Opus 41, with, Eric Cutler and Bradley Moore. And that's that. Then, oh, wow. Oh, things are about to change again and get intriguing. Yes, and I'm dropping things all over the place, as I promised. But we're already on CD 15, so you only have to watch me fumble around for 5 more discs. John Cage. Oh, baby. Credo in Us, Imaginary Landscape, number 1. Hence the title of the box, Imaginary Landscapes. You see, there you go. The Concerto for Piano and Orchestra. That's really crazy. And then we have, Rosart Mix, music for amplified toy pianos, and music for Carillon. Wow. How's that for an intriguing disc? And then we have Leonard Bernstein. Yeah, we get On the Town, Candide, Facsimile, Symphonic Dances from West Side Story, Prelude, Fugue, and Riffs, a Shana from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and A Simple Song from Mass. And this is with St. Louis Symphony, and under Paavo Järvi and Leonard Slatkin and Simon Rattle and City of Birmingham, and a very intriguing Bernstein selection. So that's really cool. And then we've got, we get Simon Rattle's Best Bernstein Operation, Wonderful Town. This was really good. It really was. And it's nice to have, and it's a full musical, so you get to hear that. And it's a very good musical, and it's the one that no one pays any attention to, because everyone wants to hear Candide or West Side Story or On the Town. But Wonderful Town was also very, very good, and it's nice to have the whole thing. So great. Terrific. And let's see, disc 19, Steve Reich. Steve Reich, we get Vermont Counterpoint, 8 lines, and New York Counterpoint, and 4 organs, and some stuff by Philip Glass, Facades, and Company, 4 movements with Christopher Warren Green and the London Chamber Orchestra. And let's see who else is doing this stuff. Ransom Wilson and the Solisti de New York, whatever they're called. And, minimalism. Yeah, we get some minimalism. That's important. And while we're on the subject of minimalism, the collection concludes with John Adams, predictably, but correctly, I think. We get, let's see, grand pianola music. I love grand pianola music. It's fun. Shaker loops and Short Ride in a Fast Machine. This is, again, the London Chamber Orchestra with Christopher Warren Green, the Solisti New York with Ransom Wilson in grand pianola music, and the other stuff is with Simon Rattle. Oh, you also get the Chairman Dances. So there you go. A genuinely representative sample of American music. Yes, the insane avant-garde isn't there. You don't get like 27 discs of Morton Feldman. And you also don't get, I think, you get the conservative side of things in only the most predictable way. I mean, it would be really nice to hear also the American neoclassicists, the Hansons and Piston and those people, and but that's quibbling. 20 discs of genuine American music. The performances are all, generally speaking, first rate, and it's a great American music box, which is, of course, why it's out of print, or why it may not be easy to find much longer. So, considering that we started with Sousa and wound up with John Adams, I think that's one heck of a deal. That's really, really a decent production. And I can only urge Warner, if this is still in print, wonderful. Let me say that first of all. If it isn't, I can only urge Warner to try and keep it in print, even though, let's face it, this was never going to be a major moneymaker. But there's great stuff here. So it was wonderful telling you about it. So keep on listening, folks. Thanks for joining me. Take care.